Good morning, students. Today we are going to continue with our chapter number 5, in which we are learning about the Indian Constitution. Now, in this topic, we studied about what is the meaning of Constitution. Then we studied about the importance of preamble and what exactly states in the preamble, and what are the important things which defines India as a country. And then we had few details about the fundamental rights, and we discussed about what are the important fundamental rights that we went through. Now I'm going to go back to the fundamental rights in a brief as to what are the basic or most important fundamental rights given to us by our Constitution of India. Now the first one is known as the right to freedom. Now this means that anyone is considered equal and they can move anywhere, any place, and they have all freedom to do various different things. There are various different freedoms, like freedom to speech, freedom to move from one place to another, freedom to practice any kind of religion, freedom to practice any kind of occupation they want, settle anywhere in the world, not in the world, sorry, it is anywhere in India. So there are certain things that are freely given as per the Constitution of India. Now considering that only, the next one is about the right to equality. Now what does it mean? Right to equality, we had studied that everyone is considered equal in the eyes of law. No one is rich, poor, or no one is discriminated as per rich or poor from belonging from any particular religion or any particular caste or gender and so on. The next is right to freedom of religion, where a person, being India, a secular country, it itself states that India is a country which has many different diversity of religion together practiced in one single country. So according to that, nobody is forced to practice or to not allow anyone or to restrict anyone. Even no one can restrict anyone from practicing any kind of religion. If the person is found to do so, he is punishable under the law. The next is right against exploitation. This is very important to understand, because right to against exploitation, it states about those people or children or the group of people who are exploited. Now, right against exploitation means those category of children who are smaller. It is most probably seen that they are being forcefully, or sometimes due to some reason, they are made to work in those kind of environment which are not safe or healthy for them. So to protect those category of children or society, this particular law has been made. And if anybody is found to practice or to hire any children or a small person who is below this particular age, who are underage, considered underage according to the law, and if they are caught, they will be punished. Now against this also, there is one more in regarding to exploitation. Is many of the times we have heard about human trafficking, where human beings are bought and sold. Most probably it is considered to the female child or female category of our society, where for various different reasons it is found that human trafficking has grown to a larger extent. So this law is against those unwanted practices that is going on into our society. The next is about right to culture and education, that is educational and cultural right, where a person has full right or full freedom to practice any kind of culture, tradition they want to, or any kind of educational background they want to practice, or any kind of profession they want to go into and they want to do by themselves. So it is up to the citizen of India to those who have the right to choose what they want to do in regarding to culture and educational background. The next is about right to constitutional remedy. Now this word constitutional remedy holds a very important point to be understood, because constitutional remedy means like any person who is aggrieved or any person who is having problem or facing any kind of trouble by an outsider or a third party or anyone can approach a court of law. A court of law can be a police station or any kind of judicial or government made authorities who can take forward the problems of the people and solve it. So going towards going and approaching the court, going and approaching the police station or any armed forces and putting forward the problem is known as constitutional remedy, and this remedy is given to each and every citizen of India. Like for example, it is not differentiated among in regarding to any religion, that a particular religion can only go and ask for to the police station and ask for any complaint, file a complaint or ask for any relief. It is for each and every category of religion, each and every category of caste or background as to which they can go and approach the judicial system of our country and get their problem solved or get remedies. So this is known by constitutional remedy. So these are various important fundamental rights that we study. The next is about the fundamental duties. Now, the constitution or the government, sort to say, the constitution, sort to say, has given us fundamental rights, that is privileges, special kind of privileges to be practiced. But on the other hand, there are certain important duties that has to be performed by each and every citizen. Now, there are list of duties that becomes our responsibility for on behalf of our country to do it, and it is done so that our country will develop and it will have a righteous place in the whole world. Now there are various important fundamental duties that are mentioned in the constitution. Let's go one by one. Number one is about we must aid by rules laid down by our constitution. Means we should follow the important rules, regulations that are being noted down in our constitution. The next is we must respect our national anthem. Like most of the time it happens that while national anthem goes or it is played or it is sung, it is always reminded to everyone or told that we should all stand upright during the national anthem. That is giving respect to the national anthem, and it should be followed by everyone. Not to condemn the national anthem and feel proud when the national anthem is sung or played anytime. We must promote peace and harmony. Means not disturbing the society, always being peaceful to your neighbors, and be kind, and so that the environmental system of our country would be in a good proper way, that no crimes or no unwanted situation that occurs within our country. The next is we must protect and conserve our national heritage. Now it has been found in various different places. Like what it means is that we should always keep our national heritage. What is national heritage now? National heritages are old important buildings or old important historical places where people or tourists go and visit these places. Now when they go and visit these places, what happens is that they give lot of importance. Like we have Taj Mahal, which is considered as 7 wonders of the world. It has a lot of importance which attracts tourists, which brings about economical development for our country. And some other time it is found that various people, what they do is that they write something on the wall, they spit here and there, they throw things here and there, which makes the whole environment dirty. Now this should not be done, which is our duty to keep it clean and prosperous. Now uphold the sovereignty of our country, nation. Then all the citizens of India must protect the public property and not to damage it, not to destroy the public properties and keep it as it is. To avoid any kind of violence that is being prevailed. So these are the important duties that is mentioned in the constitution, and various indirect duties are also there that we should do. We should perform from our side, because if the constitution has given certain rights, it is also our responsibility to give something from our side to the country. The next is about the directive principle of state policy. Now what does it mean? Directive principle of state policy means that a government, the policies that are being mentioned, or the policies or important details that are being mentioned in the constitution. Now these policies, now as we study fundamental rights, it is for the citizen. Fundamental duties, it is the responsibility of the citizen. Now these directive principles are guidelines, or sort to say are certain principles that or rules that the government has to follow. Now these guidelines, why they were made? So that the government, if they follow these rules and regulations, then the important is that most of the time there are various functions or duties that the government has to do for the citizen or for the country. Now these responsibilities, duties are being laid out in the directive principle of state policy. What they have to do, what they can't do, and what are the important responsibilities that is given to the government for fulfilling for the citizens. Now there are various important points that are noted down in the directive principle of state policy. Now what are they? Number one, providing adequate means of livelihood for both men and women. Means a system or a provision where people can earn for their living. Now, what does it mean? It means the government should provide opportunities or certain privileges from their side, and those privileges has to be used by the men and women or the citizen of India and get or earn something for their living. Now, providing public health and nutrition for the Indian citizen means a proper healthcare system or a proper sanitization system has to be provided, so that the environment of our country or the surrounding or the area itself is in such a way that more and more people are found to be healthy, in a healthy situation. Now, equal pay for equal work is one of the main important part. Now, it means that a person should not be discriminated being a man or a woman in regarding to payment system. If a man is in a manager's post and if a woman is having the same post, same responsibilities, there cannot be discrimination in regarding to their payments or paying system. They should be paid equally. That is the meaning of equal pay for equal work, which should be there. And providing wildlife protection, then health, environmental peace, and guarding children against exploitation. Now, in right to against exploitation, we had studied the same meaning here stands, that the children of this country should be guarded well, and they should be protected from being exploited by the other person or other people in such a way that a better understanding is put forward to the society, that we should be caring, so that children are the young peoples who will grow up and who will again help in the development of our society or our country. So these are for most of the important directive principles. There are so many important duties, responsibilities that are given to the government, and some of them are mentioned here in your book, which you have to keep in note. And it is very important that these topics have to be understood very well, and it should be known to us in a proper way, which is in regarding to the Constitution of India, a very important part that is related to ourselves, and it will be with us for a very long period of time, until and unless we are the citizen of this country. So this is all for this chapter, that in which we have learned about the Indian Constitution in brief details. Hope most of you have understood it, and please complete your notes and do all the important things that are required for you to keep your educational development in a proper track. Thank you very much.